In a town called Harmless, Montana, there is a retirement home. An old detective is meant to spend the rest of his years here. Not by choice, but due to an old classmate of his that runs the facility, trying to convince advisors he's not fit to leave. His family disregards him due to the lack of care he showed his family when he was in the field, late nights, and constantly bringing work home, diagnosed with a tumor in his brain and being told he only has months left to live. Meet John Reeder, who has been brought to life beautifully by Scott Snyder and Jock. We go through his day-to-day life as he loses track of time, picking up his grandson one moment after an argument with his son, to the very next panel we're at a petting zoo, and the goat is in his hands. He doesn't know how he got there, and I'm right alongside with him. When you first see the panel, you can't tell if it's a hallucination or not, until his caretaker steps in and informs us where we are. But this is not just about an old man in a retirement home at the end of his days. Jack's caretaker has him go to his school and speak about his life doing his detective work. The kids ask if he's ever shot or killed anyone, as kids do, and then answering too many questions, feeling uncomfortable, and noticing the direction it was going, he decides to leave. He decides to answer one more question. Is it true you came face to face with the Chatterman? One kid asks. John is hesitant to answer, but he tries to brush it off by saying he never existed and he would have to be real for that to happen, so no. But what I forgot to mention is every morning John wakes up, a piece of paper is held with a door on it, and he's asked what's behind the door. He names clothes or just other mundane objects that would be behind a door, but internally he remembers being young and in full bloom love with a woman of his dreams, working hard to be a detective. Life couldn't be better for him. He goes to see his lover with a ring in hand, but when he arrives, there is no answer. He calls her name a few times until finally peeking in the window of the door, only to discover she had been gruesomely murdered, stabbed 72 times, missing one tooth, and absolutely butchered. They call it extreme overkill, and she was the first in a string of murders that happened in Harmless. Due to the suspect never being caught and no one having any evidence of the Chatterman's existence, cases that were solved seem to be reopened for his victims, further showing their disbelief. Except he is very real, and he's back, taking out the head of the retirement facility to start. Will this community believe John, or will they sum him up as a kooky old man at the end of his days?